Hello, everybody. My name is Kimberly Sharp. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist out of San Pedro, and I wanted to share with you some tips on reintegration, especially after attending an IANDS conference. I've been recently asked this by a few different people on how to really come back down to earth, aka reintegrate, after attending an IANDS conference. It can be particularly challenging because the conference is filled with so much joy and love and rich conversation and just so much fun, frankly. And we attend the conference, we're filled with so much positive feeling for several days where everyone is just so kind and warm and friendly, and it's just so meaningful every day. And then we come back down to earth and we re-enter our lives, our everyday lives, and it can be really hard. Like, how do we manage that? It's almost like, having a really transformative NDE or STE and then reintegrating after that. And this is something that I help people with. So I'd love to share with you a few tips on how to do this. So first thing to keep in mind, manage your expectations. Others have not been to the same conference as you. And so in a way, it's a bit unreasonable to ask other people to have like the same positive feelings that you have because you've been to this conference. You have been through several days of lots of joy and positivity, and others simply have not. And so it's important to keep in mind who to share your joy with. You share your joy with people who can appreciate all the amazing takeaways, the rich conversations, all that positivity. Maybe other people that you know have been to IANDS conferences in the past or had similarly life-giving experiences. Tell those people about your experience. And for people who asked you, oh, what'd you do last weekend? Well, I went to a conference. It was great. And if they ask more, say more. And if they don't ask more, then leave it at that. Number 2, self-validate. It is so important to acknowledge the challenge of coming back into our everyday life after being at an IANDS conference. It's important to validate that, wow, this is hard. Going back to my job where I'm surrounded by negative people or I'm with people who aren't in the same energy level, it's hard. So it's best to not minimize how you actually feel, especially when you feel like you're kind of floating up here and everybody's sort of down here and feeling lower. So acknowledge that, self-validate. Say, gosh, this might be a hard day because I still feel so happy, but I'm going to be around all these negative people. But who knows? You may not be around all the negative people. But just to acknowledge that if unpleasant conversations happen or the usual complaining does happen, okay, well, oh, that's no fun. This is hard. So just acknowledge how you feel. Self-validate. That's number 2. Number 3, when people judge you for your joy, shake the dust off your feet and let your joy come back to you. So if you're walking into your work environment or somewhere else and you just feel so positive after being at the conference, and people say, why the hell are you so effing happy? To really remember that this might actually be more about them. Their judgment of you and your positivity, in a way, is more about them usually than about you. There may even be some envy they have for you deep down that they're unable or unwilling to acknowledge. Perhaps that envy that they feel can enable you to feel compassion for them or not. It's okay one way or the other. If people judge you for your happiness or your joy, acknowledge again, self-validate. Oh, this is hard for being judged. And can I let my joy come back to me and really revel in that? So those are my 3 tips. manage your expectations, self-validate, and when people judge you for your joy, let your joy come back to you. That's what I've got for now, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.